The Passenger by Jack Ketchum. Read for you by Gary Kohler. It wasn't the best of days even before her car died. She'd fallen asleep the night before at her desk in the study and awakened from a dream of Micah Harp, all 300-plus pounds of him, crashing through the picture window and spraying her with shards of glass, slamming up against her desk and scattering papers and cigarette butts everywhere, and then laughing, leering up at her, saying, "Troubles, counselor?" And she rode that sudden wakefulness for a moment like a bucking steer. Then Alan walks in from his shower, wrapped in a towel, carrying a manila file folder, drops the folder on the end table, and asks her not to let him forget these briefs tomorrow, please. "Sure, Alan. Thanks. No problem." It took him a full 2 minutes to really see her there, pale as chalk, and yet another to ask what was wrong. "Dream," she said. He glanced at the desk littered with paperwork. "You been down here all night?" She yawned, nodded. "So, how'd it go?" "So I think I'm screwed without Micah Harp. That's what it comes down to." "I could have told you that." "All I can do is argue insufficient evidence." She watched him throw his towel over his shoulder and turn and walk toward the kitchen. "Uh-huh. You want some coffee?" "I need some coffee." "I want some sleep. I want a case I can win, goddammit." He said, "Settle for the coffee." Then later, she and Milton went, the prosecutor, before the bench and Judge Irma Foster, another stunning excuse for a conversation. "We're not arguing," she said, "that my client wasn't at the Willis home that day, Your Honor. They were old friends. He had every reason to be there. The prosecution has placed my client in the house, and we allow that he was, in fact, present. But Big was there, too, and there's nothing—" "Big?" Judge Foster squinted at her. "Micah Harp, Your Honor, the defendant's older brother." The judge looked past her to Arthur Little Harp at the defendant table. Arthur was looking pretty good today, Janet thought, all told. As good as he could look, anyway. A new suit, tie off the rack at Burton's, a shoe shine in the courthouse lobby. But Janet still knew what the judge was seeing. A chubby, pasty-faced country-ass snake watching them through idiot eyes. She just hoped he wasn't using the eraser end of the pencil to clean out his earwax again. "Big and Little?" she said. "Yes, Your Honor." "Good God." She tried to move on. "The prosecution has presented no physical evidence whatever to suggest that it was my client, and not, as we contend, my client's brother who was responsible, without my client's knowledge or cooperation, for the murder of these two people. I move to dismiss." "He confessed, Counselor," Wint sighed. "He's since recanted and implicated Micah as the shooter. The confession was taken under duress, and you know it. The police went at him for over 22 hours, all because they couldn't find his brother." "They still can't." "That's simply not true, Your Honor." Then the judge sighed, too. "Let's take this into chambers," she said. In chambers, she fared no better than expected. The trial was set for Monday morning. She had the weekend to prepare. But to prepare what? She certainly wasn't putting that little weasel on the stand. The best she could hope for was to shake the detectives who'd handle the interrogation, or to pull off a miracle in summation. It wasn't very promising. Harp had confessed to the shotgun murders of Joseph and Lillian Willis over a drug deal gone bad, and that was probably that. In the hallway, she gave it one last try with Wint, though. "It should have been postponed," she said. "It should never have come to trial." "Come on, Janet. We don't know Big's even in there. And you don't know he isn't. Nobody's placed him there. Not even his brother has definitely placed him there. What do you want the cops to do? Remember, probable cause, for God's sake? We've gone onto the estate a half-dozen times. The place is an armed camp, safe house for half the psychos in the state. But every gun in the place is registered to its owner. You know what the locals call it?" "I know. Hole in the wall." "That's right. We're talking Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, right here in quiet old Adderton County. But it's still private property. These guys have influence. They've got bucks, big bucks. with a cleanup crew to dispose of their disposables as good as any in the USA. And we don't have probable cause. He's in there, and he did the crime. She stopped and opened her briefcase and pulled out the folder, second from the top. She handed it to Wint. Look at this. Biggs' rap sheet. I've read it. Read it again. Arrests for arson, rape, armed robbery, another rape. This one a man, sodomy, murder, attempted murder, assault? She was aware that her voice was rising, echoing through the nearly empty halls, turning a head or two. She didn't give a damn. You can do something, Milton. You can send them in there after him. Wint shook his head. Wish I could. Look, nobody's saying Biggs a sweetheart, Janet. I'll even grant you that they could have done it together. But the point is, we've already got your boy. So I think I'll go right ahead and fry him, if that's okay with you.